just 12 minutes, he will camp at Bishop Rock down the trail, and when Zirkle leaves Galena after her 8, she will be 2 hours and 37 minutes behind Mitch. Dallas Seavey arrives 4 minutes after his father leaves, but he will deploy a different strategy. After 50 miles, he will rest for 4 hours.
A little change of plans. We're gonna play our game. That is be fast and do shorter runs and shorter rests.
The others stop for a rest as well.
Very nice trip. Beautiful trip with all the activity in the sky and the cold. The dogs are doing good. Best run they've had so far in the race.
Oh, it's as good as any run I've ever had from Ruby to here. Yeah, the dogs are really ready to roll.
But try to keep the team together and healthy is the main thing right now.
The leader of the race is Allie Zirkle. She passed Mitch Seavey overnight as he camped. When the sun was coming up on Saturday morning, Zirkle is in Nulato, mile 571.
Welcome, Allie.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have to go through.
And she stays for just 7 minutes, not wanting to waste the cool air of the morning hours on the Yukon. Dallas Seavey has now come up to do battle. His speed remains high, an hour and 13 minutes behind Zirkle now. But again, his strategy is different. He will rest in Nulato.
I'm gonna stay for a little bit.
Okay,
good. Get these guys parked and get them on the trail if we can do that. I'm guessing she went, a fair bit faster than me on that run, just because we were tinkering with stuff and she was coming off her 8. I bet she was moving pretty well, We got a nice team, but I think we'll be seeing her again here sometime tomorrow.
A gorgeous trail, a gorgeous night. It really, I know I'm supposed to think of something big and scary, but it's gorgeous.
Nearly 3 hours behind Allie Zirkle now, Mitch Seavey arrives. His son and Jeff King stay. He won't.
I enjoyed the pleasant riverside camp last night, so I might as well stick with my wilderness ways.
Aaron Burmeister, back after a 2-year layoff, and with a new team, has the largest team remaining. 571 miles into the race, he still has 15 dogs, and he was 12 minutes faster than Dallas Seavey in that last run. He goes through.
In my eyes, it was Allie, Dallas, Mitch, and John were my competitors at that point. And John, regardless of where he's at, if you see him or not, is always a competitor. Mitch is the same way. You never know where it's going to come together. Dallas has had an air of confidence about him all season.
Back in Galena, the ptarmigan watch over the dog lot. The Alaskan state bird is in its winter plumage. These teams are still racing for the best spot their team will allow them to get.
I so covered up I could hardly see in front of me. But so I got my fingers and toes and nose.
The disappointment for Lance Mackey is still very raw in Galena. He won 4 Iditarods in a row between 2007 and 2010, but last year he finished 16th.
I know what it's like to drive 15 dogs to the finish line in first place. So to drive 7 dogs to the finish line and then get down to 7 or 8 again, 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. Come on, man.
Name?
In Nulato, the pack chasing the leaders is still very confident with the way their teams are performing, with 47 miles to go before they depart the river.
You hear that? Yeah. Time to race.
I think those teams up front are going a little slower, and they're going to probably rest it less than us, and we're going to try to gamble that maybe we can go faster than them and, make up for some of that time by going faster.
Well, I think we're all even once we get farther in the race here. Them guys in front of us got to go because they're a little slower. I think we got a little bit more rest, and I think if you look at the times, we're probably a little faster.
Yeah, these dogs are flying. They're ready to start racing on the coast.
It was 25 years ago that Susan won the Iditarod for the first time, and that was, you know, of course, one of the truly important events in, you know, my life, but also in the life of the girls, because it set us on this path towards adventure in the Arctic. Already they've met all sorts of people in the villages that come up and say how much they look like their mother and how many times they saw them, and it's just really, it's really a big deal for us and for the people in the village, I think, to see them.
Allie Zirkle is the first to hit Caltech. She's off the ice. Her team has earned a long rest. The race will begin to ramp now. They have the final third of the race in front of them.
Yeah, you know, but there are a lot of miles to go, and I'm going to rest a good amount here, and those guys are going to catch me. And then we'll see what they do. But I got to have some speed to get over there. And I got to have a strong dog team to get over there. So I got to rest them.
Bruce Lee with the Iditarod Insider. We're out on the Yukon River between the checkpoints in Nulato and Caltech. It was 30 below out here last night when our film crew was out on the trail filming the dogs. And the snow goes through a metamorphosis and it becomes very crystalline. It's almost more icy. It makes for a nice base for the dogs to walk on, but it's very abrasive snow. And what protects those dogs' pads are these booties.
The lead pack consists of 6 teams: Zirkle, Baker, Mitch, Dallas, Aaron, and Jeff King. They all arrive within a 4-hour and 45-minute period of time. The portage to the Bering Sea coast is next, the longest run on the trail.
They were better today than yesterday. So if they're better tonight than they were today, and so on, you never know. I have a lot of faith in these guys.
I was thinking about that, and I think they're performing fine. They're just in a different situation, different conditions. But they're not doing that bad, and we've got a long ways to go.
Is it a team that's got enough for a final push?
Oh, yeah. They got lots left. It's the musher that seems to be sluggish.
Is the winner of the Iditarod in this dog lot.
And I think the people that are attempting to win the Iditarod and that have made all the right moves to this point in the race are sitting here in this dog lot.
I have a feeling they are right now. Very close to this spot here.
Oh, I'm quite sure the winner of this year's race is in the front 6.
Allie Zirkle rests for 5 hours and 41 minutes, at least an hour longer than any of the other top 5. She's hoping the added rest pays off at the end.
She's leading this race. She made some moves back around Cripple that's catapulted her up to the front, but in hot pursuit are 5 other teams. But Dallas is on top of everything. Everybody's commenting on his energy level. He's thinking schedules, minutes, and Aaron's posting some of the fastest run times.
This was a very key run, and this is the run that we had set up for going down the river. Going down the river, we were building the team again. We weren't racing. We were staying close enough. We weren't trying to gain on those guys, but we were building a monster that could just destroy that trail to Unalakleet.
The teams leave Caltech and begin the 85-mile run to Unalakleet. For many mushers, this is their favorite stretch of the trail. There's a gentle rise through forest, and then the sky opens up into a wide-open, vast Bering Sea coastline. But again, the leaders will be making most of this trip in the dark.
This area is supposed to be, I'll say, haunted by a old woman who, if you don't pay tribute and behave right, she'll cause mischief for you. And Susan, my wife, always loved this place here, because it's even as you go through the trees, you feel this little bit of hair rise up on the back of your neck. And so it's a beautiful place. I'm here with my daughters so they can really understand one of the reasons Susan loved this race so much, and so we're spending an extra day here.
Old Woman Cabin, about 55 miles past Caltech. Dave Monson and his girls are there when Allie passes through. John Baker's the second team at Old Woman, and he actually stops to snack the dogs there.
Ooh, ooh, hop, 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 hop. Right there.
But John Baker has this sense that he connects with his dogs in a very quiet, gentle way. You don't have to talk to him loudly. He just says ha or gee, and they just do it because they knew he's directing them as part of the team instead of like pushing them to do something. So it's impressive.
What's very clear on this night on the Iditarod Trail, the weather has changed. Reports of 45 below zero in this stretch catch many of the mushers off guard. Michelle Phillips stops to snack, and you can see the cold here.
It was kind of long. Usually it's in the middle of the night when you do run. It's hard to stay awake between 2 and 5 for me. It's kind of my witching hour. It could be a little warmer. But it could be worse, couldn't it?
Unalakleet, Inupiaq country, on the Bering Sea coast, the land of wind and ice. 7:28 Sunday morning, Allie Zirkle survives the 85-mile run, the intense cold, and she's rewarded with the Gold Coast Award, presented by Wells Fargo.
We'd like to present to you the Wells Fargo Gold Coast Award.
My goodness. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, it's been since 1989 since a woman has won this award, and you've done a great job, and we'd like to present you $2,500 in gold.
Wow!
And this is the local gnome gold that was dredged in our area.
Wow.
So pour it in here for you.
Holy cow! Don't spill any.
No.
That is all 100% gnome gold.
They look pretty frisky for the run they just came in on. They're all up and alert, and I mean, look at these guys. They're wagging their tails and totally focused on Allie. That's a good sign.
The run took Allie 13 hours and 33 minutes. Dallas Seavey made up an hour and 51 minutes, trailing Allie now by just 51 minutes.
Team, or do you think somebody's going to have to make a move to get there first?
I think Dallas already made a move by being conservative and resting a lot.
To be brutally honest with you, I was competing against Dallas Seavey since Takatna. I thought he was the team I'd have to beat. When we left Takatna, we all ran with headlights on, and I could see Dallas behind me. We're traveling exactly the same speed with his headlight and my headlight. And then I knew Mitch was in front of me, and I could kind of tell just by looking at where he snacked his dogs how much faster he was than me. And then I saw where he ditched his straw, so he wasn't going to camp. And then I looked back, and all of a sudden Dallas's headlight was gone, which means to me he's camping. And right then I knew Dallas Seavey was camping. He wasn't running straight to Cripple, and he was going for the win.
I am the team to beat. It's not just a dream. It's not just we're doing well. We're doing really well. We're moving, and we're strong, and there's no chinks in the armor here. And this is where the race almost becomes, for me, it goes from being the most fun run of my life to one of the most stressful runs of my life. There was a distinct change right there in Unalakleet. Before, I had nothing to lose. You know, young musher, I do well, great. I do poorly, oh, we expected that. Now, it's mine to mess up, mine to screw up, and now you got a lot of eyes looking at you.
Aaron Burmeister is third in, but he is almost an hour slower than Dallas. Baker is almost 2 hours slower. Strategically, Dallas is now in control because he has his top-end speed left.
Winning to me right now is getting to Nome first. It is having the best dog team in the world. That's what winning is to me.
For the young upstart Jake Berkowitz, his race ends in Unalakleet. Having the race of his life in Indy Unalakleet in 6th place, he cuts his hand 3 hours prior to the checkpoint. He's forced to leave the race and seek immediate medical attention or gamble with losing function in that hand. For Jeff King, the 4-time champion has to call it quits 10 miles prior to the checkpoint. His team is sick, and he won't force them to go any farther. It's his first early departure in his 22-year Iditarod career. The lead pack is trimmed to just 4, Zirkle, Seavey, Burmeister, and Baker. Burmeister is the first to leave, still with the largest team and the most power with 14 dogs.
They came into Unalakleet 15 dogs, strong as oxes, and ate and drank and healthy, and I looked around me and saw Allie and Dallas, and we got a shot at this. We're a contender.
There we go. 12:31, perfect.
Dallas Evie will push the pace now. He knows he has the fastest team. Now he has to prove that he has the savvy to lead them there in front of the others.
Aaron Burmeister has 15 dogs, but he's slower than me. So he's got a bigger team, but I've got the faster team. The scary part about this is the bigger team can bounce back. If he can get a 6-hour break on his dogs, his speed could skyrocket.
Shaktoolik, 40 miles from Unalakleet, and at the end of a spit that jets out into the Bering Sea. The town is an oasis in the middle of a windy hell. 6:31 Sunday night, Dallas Evie, just 25 years old, is taking control of the race and arrives in Shaktoolik. Long enough to get supplies, he leaves across Norton Sound and the frozen sea ice for Koyuk, a 50-mile run.
Within about an hour, I realized this was a mistake. And it was not because my dogs faded. It's not because they had trouble leaving the checkpoint. They were looking awesome. The problem was the trail was horrible. We're talking 5 inches of sugary, soft snow. We're walking at 5.5, 6 miles an hour. This is a team that's been doing 8.5 the whole way. You know, we hit a wall out there of just deep, soft snow. And it was obvious that if I pushed through this and went all the way to Koyuk, my dogs could do it, no problem. We would get there all right, but we would have lost the speed that we spent the whole race building. So I made it a little bit, I went about another hour hoping to see if the trail improved when we got over the land and actually hit the sea ice. No dice. It was just as bad. So I pulled over about at the shelter cabin and gave my dogs about a 2-hour break right there.
20-year-olds have done well in this race, but they've rarely won it. Only Carl Huntington and Rick Swenson have won it with such youth. Swenson the youngest when he won it in 1977 for the first time. He was 26. Burmeister is the second to arrive, but he will rest before going out onto the ice.
We're going to park for a while.
Zirkle and Baker each will rest for 2 hours, while Burmeister shuts it down for 4. The wind of Norton Sound. It has stopped many teams in the history of this race. These 40 miles are as dangerous as any on this trail. Whiteouts are common, without any sign of land. The leaders are now navigating their way across in the dark. The lights of Koyuk are a welcome sight. And a beacon in this wind tunnel. It's 3:17 in the morning. Dallas arrives in Koyuk. He will now rest for 5 hours.
I wanted to be out of there before they got there, for sure. Because the trail did set up real nice, and I wanted to be the first team on it. So yeah, I left and I didn't see anybody, and then once I was going and it was getting dark, then I could see a light back there.
When Allie Zirkle arrives, she's an hour and 36 minutes behind Dallas, within range.
You can't choose heart. And that's what my dog team has, a lot of heart. They might be tiny little dogs that no one else would want to give a chance, but they don't know what their hearts are, and they're huge. Like, who are the best workers in Mount Everest? Well, they're the little Sherpas. I mean, they're these little smaller people who are muscular, and they're light-boned, and they're lighter weight, and they carry the amount of weight that they weigh on their backs, and they carry us European climbers on their backs up to the top of Everest so they can claim they climbed Everest. Well, those are my little dogs. Well, jump on the back. I'll bring you to the finish line.
Aaron Burmeister arrives in third. His team is beginning to show its youth. He is 3.5 hours behind Dallas.
Physically, they're in great shape. They're eating, they're drinking, they're happy. But mentally, they're wondering where the end's going to be.
I don't know where the time goes.
Okay.
So how long until you get mine booted?
What's that?
How long till you get mine booted?
Well, that depends.
I gotta leave here in about 50 minutes.
50 minutes?
8:29 a.m. with 11 dogs, Dallas Seavey leaves Koyuk, headed for Elam, 48 miles. There's a push now to White Mountain and their 8-hour rest. This is a stretch that involves hills, sea ice, and can be some of the toughest miles on the trail. 8 minutes after Dallas leaves, Ramey Smith arrives in Koyuk. He's a wild card, a rested team, and a musher with one of the best closing kicks in history. Allie leaves just 22 minutes after Dallas.
This was another kind of scary spot where I'm running along and I know Allie's not far behind. I hit the hill after the sea ice, hit the big hill. I start running up that hill and I make it to the top and I look back and sure enough, there's one nice looking dog team. You know, Allie's moving right along. I can see she's about a mile behind me probably. But a mile over the course of the next 80 miles, or actually it's about 88 miles over to White Mountain, that's not a big gap, not a big gap at all.
But it was a tough go from Koyuk to Elam. It was not an easy trail. We broke trail for quite a ways. I caught up to Dallas there. I was only about 200 yards behind him. And so I lost quite a bit of power there, and I could see Dallas walk away from me.
3:19 Monday afternoon, Dallas Seavey arrives in Elam. He's 46 miles from White Mountain and his rest. He's in Elam for just 6 minutes, but notice he takes straw.
All right, it doesn't mean anything if we're not first, you know? Watch it.
32 minutes later, Zirkle arrives. She lost just 10 minutes in that run from Koyuk, but any lost time is a problem with so few miles to go.
They need a little bit of break, so I think it's a good move. Got to run this team, not Dallas.
A little over a trail mile out of Elam, Dallas Seavey is putting that straw to use. He has stopped and camped out of the sight of his competition.
So I grabbed straw, grabbed food, went about 1.5 miles out of Elam, just out of sight, and parked my dogs, and I risked every minute I could to try to get those dogs every second of rest, but still get out of there with enough of a lead to where she wouldn't be right on my tail. And I think we timed that one about perfectly.
When Dallas leaves this spot, Zirkle is mere minutes behind now. But again, playing the speed card, Dallas hits the throttle and builds a lead again. "14 minutes after midnight, 25-year-old Dallas Seavey is just 77 miles from making history."
They've spent their life building towards this moment, and so have I. When I was 5 years old, I knew that I would race the Iditarod. That's what I was going to do. My grandfather had raced the Iditarod, my dad had raced the Iditarod. Iditarod champions were legends to me.
When he arrives, he'll keep one eye on his watch. Every minute now puts him closer to reaching a dream. 1:25 in the morning. Allie Zirkle is now 1 hour and 11 minutes behind Dallas, just 77 miles away from being the first woman to win the race in Susan Butcher in 1990.
Get your park.
Man, I always thought that last 10 miles was the easiest. That was wrong. That was not the easiest.
Was it windy across the bay?
Oh. See here?
Yeah, I think so. He didn't take a wrong turn. That's what you're flying.
Oh, man. Man, I'm going to have to lose a lot of weight and run really fast.
Ramey Smith has come from the middle of the pack. He was in 21st position leaving Ruby. He's an hour and 55 minutes behind now and in third. When Dallas and Allie leave, they each know what they have to do. Both will spend a lot of time off the sled running and pushing. An hour and 11 minutes Over 77 miles is a big lead, but Dallas can't afford any mistakes.
Boy, put 100% effort into leaving White Mountain, heading over those hills, coming down Topcock, all the glare ice and safety sound and double poling, and I was really thinking I could catch him. And then I got to safety and they said, he went through an hour ago, and I went, no, it's a huge bummer. An hour. But at least it's not 26 seconds. You know, I can't live in my house right now and talk about, I lost by an hour, it sucks, because Alan's right there going,
Dallas Seavey, at 25 years old, the youngest champion in Iditarod history. A family name woven into the deepest stitching of this race. His father Mitch is behind him in White Mountain. His grandfather Dan is on the Yukon River. And in the year when his younger brother Conway won the junior Iditarod, I would say after 40 years the cards have all come up Seavey. And Dallas has proven that youth is no longer a crutch in this race. I would say the generations have definitely caught up.
You know, this is the moment we've been living towards, pushing towards, fighting for, and here we are about to realize it.
Sorry, buddy. Try not to choke up here.
I feel what it feels like to run an Iditarod champion dog team. I feel what it feels like to run a team that can do anything, that we set a schedule and a style and a strategy, and they accomplished it. Every goal we set, they beat it, and here we are seeing with a beautiful dog team, beautiful, beautiful team. Having a great time, nobody's ahead of us, we got the best team in the world. That's what I felt. I felt what it feels like to run the best team in the world, not what it feels like to win the Iditarod, which are one and the same, but that's the feeling that I'll always remember.
What are you thinking, buddy? A lot. Thinking a lot.
There's no words to describe it. It's beyond words to be able to explain how rewarding it is and fulfilling it is to have him now, the youngest musher to ever win the Iditarod. And to me, that's not really an end in itself. I think it's a symptom, and I think that indicates all of the other qualities that Dallas has that I'm so proud of, with or without the Iditarod.
I was an hour behind Dallas, eh?
An hour, almost to the hour.
Well, there you go.
This may be the most significant, if not extraordinary, era in long-distance mushing. A storybook 4-year run to Iditarod enshrinement by a character of the game, whose last name is ribboned through the history of this race, followed by its first Inupac champion. After nearly 40 years, the vision came full circle. The aging dream that those living in distant communities can win was renewed. And now youth has made a cobweb-covered return to the winner's circle. For nearly 3 decades, don't bother even thinking about winning if you hadn't reached your 30s. This had become a trail where inexperience came to die. Thriving while sleep-deprived and knowledge of every twist and turn were critical. A lack of wisdom became this event's kryptonite. Until Dallas, a pedigreed, determined, and obsessed prodigy. And one has to wonder, like breaking the 4-minute mile barrier and the subsequent flood of other runners who believed it could now be done, Dallas could be a trigger that blows open the door for a raging clan of youthful chasers. Or will wisdom again win out and slam that door? Can Dallas become just the 5th champion to repeat? Grab a chair. The fun may just be beginning.
You're gonna have to beat the team. The team is the musher and the dogs. So if a team catches up with me, they're gonna have a fight on their hands. I'm not gonna let it go easily. So yeah, it's gonna be really, really, really hard to pass me at the end of the Iditarod. That being said, I'm not the only one who knows how to do that. Yeah, they're gonna have to outrun me, and I have no intention of becoming less athletic in the next couple of years. If anything, this win will definitely motivate me to be more athletic. I'm gonna be able to do more on the sled. My team is getting better. Most teams win the Iditarod when their kennel's at the peak. We're not at the peak. We're almost in a valley right now.
And Dallas is bloodthirsty driven. That's what makes the difference for him. And he has all of Mitch's knowledge. He grew up with the dogs. He's really smart. I know that they would go outside to the States and race Doug Swingley. Dallas would be right there watching Doug and his dad and seeing what it took to win. He has immersed his life in the racing sled dogs, and he's an ultimate competitor. And
I see Dallas as being eventually the best driver that we've seen. He's got the whole package, and he really is strong on analyzing a dog or a dog team and maximizing those dogs, which is a rare gift. And so Dallas will beat you with a weaker dog team and smile the whole time and have a good time and love every minute of it.
It remains an impressive field. Champions line the start list like a ring of honor, and contenders who have knocked on the door may be ready to kick it in.
I've always said, I want to win Iditarod, but I want to win it on my own terms. And that means I need to have a team that can win. I don't want to push a team so hard, and they're not supposed to win. They're not a talented enough dog. They're not gelled enough. They're coming to the finish line, and I want a team that has that ability to win.
And now we're coming up with innovations that suits our old age a little bit, is we're adapting equipment, materials, and schedules to some degree to suit our ancient needs. But we are really the first group of people that have gone through that. And in our career, look how much the sport has changed. And I'm just looking forward to the new generation, the Pete Kaisers and the Mike Williamses and the Dallas